Morning, guys, from Torrance, California. Heading off here to return the Goldwing, swap out for a little Adventure 500, a new model. And a little bit of an incline here. Let's test out the reverse. So we got a minus down here by the thumb, release the brake. Ooh, look at that. It just walks back. Nice casual walking pace. That makes it super easy. Very cool. Good start to the morning.
Okay, whew, finally, end of the day. That was 6, almost 7 hours in the saddle, non-stop. Haven't even stopped to eat. I'm starving, by the way. So I'm going to give you my assessments here, good and bad. First of all, great overall bike. It has no huge flaws. Great touring bike. Definitely fun in the twisties. Not going to call it sporty. It's just not. It's actually a lot of work taking it through the canyons. After the first hour, my shoulders were cranking. Let's start with the negatives. First is the seat, surprisingly. I thought it was going to be great when I did my first ride. I was on it for all of a half an hour. This is realistically, at least to my butt, a 2-hour seat. Beyond that, started to get uncomfortable. Right now, it hurts. It legitimately hurts my tailbone. Felt really, really good here to stand up. So, at least for the heavier guys like me, probably gonna be putting a different seat on it right away. But for shorter rides, it's excellent. Another negative is also a positive, and that's the new front suspension. In some instances, it works fantastically. Cruising down the road, sweeping curves, soaking up big bumps. Absolutely great. Does its job. But under some circumstances, grooves in the road, ruts in the road, anything that would pull a tire gets real floaty, and the bars move a lot under your hands. They do this. I mean, the bike's still tracking, but it doesn't give you a very confident feeling. It's just a weird floaty feeling. But like I said, it does work really well. It does soak up the bumps. You can see the suspension working all the time right here. Just bouncing up and down, soaking up all the bumps, and your ride is perfectly smooth. So, just not great under all conditions. Maybe a little room for improvement there. Love the engine, love the transmission. Plenty of torque, especially down low. The transmission simply works. The DCT shifts at the right points, downshifts at the right points, holds gears. Didn't have any need to play with it manually, even going through the canyons. And I took it through the twistiest roads that are out here. Performed absolutely flawlessly. Very impressed with the powertrain for sure. Doesn't have a lot of upper end pull, but that's not what it's made for. And the transmission doesn't wind it out to take it up there. It uses the engine for exactly what it was made for. Love the low center of gravity, the low speed handling. Excellent. Extremely easy coming to a stop. I can literally stop it standing up, just like a BMW 1200. Very easy to handle. I love the way they shifted the engine. Fits my feet perfectly. Love the controls. They do need to be slightly adjusted for me. The brake pedal is a wee bit too high, but that's not a big deal. You can set that up yourself. Another negative, and it's not a design thing, it's just not right for me, is the bar position. My forearms are really burning. They are cranking. They're just a little too wide and a little too tall for long-term use for me. They're just not where they need to be. But they feel great, and the controls themselves are very good. The navigation system. Once you actually get the destination in there, it works okay. It shows you how far to the next turn. It does not, however, tell you east, west, north, south. For example, on a freeway, that really helps when you're coming up to an exchange and it goes both ways. It just says, you know, I-10. Well, which way on I-10? You know, it's not perfect, but that's the only good part about it. Getting your information in there is almost impossible. Certainly nothing you can do on the fly. If you're in a hurry to find something, you're screwed. You really are. It's not something that needs a little work. It's something that needs to be scrapped. I mean, completely scrapped and redone as a true navigation system. But the screen itself looks good, so there's potential there. It's all software. The hard part's done. They just gotta actually get real navigation software in there, and it'll be really nice. Storage is a mixed bag. It's definitely limited. Now, if you guys have seen my trip videos, you know I have a lot more room in this when I put my bag in here with my usual trip gear. This is about it. Whew, he almost locked it up and hit that car. Close one, he stalled it. Anyway, you can see how limited this is. I mean, the depth barely fits my camera bag. That's it. So, and this is the trunk. I mean, this is supposed to be the biggest part of the bike. Saddlebags, they fit my jacket. That's really about it. They're oddly sized with all these kinds of cutouts and plastic bits, and they just don't have the overall volume to be of much use. These doors are, you know, you got about 2 inches. So there's really nothing else you can put in there. Whatever you can fit in here, that's it. Definitely not a helmet. Just soft goods, that kind of thing. That's by far, I think, people's number one complaint. But again, this was an intentional design element. Honda knew it. They weren't looking to reproduce the old version with a ton of storage. So I'm not calling it a fail, but it is definitely a drawback that people need to be aware of. And just me as usability, just going on a trip, I really would be at a loss for space, because I utilize all of the space I have on my bike, and I'm probably missing a third of it, maybe 50%. So just be aware of that. Other than that, great bike. Seriously fun to ride. Extremely smooth, comfortable. Other than the seat, but like I said, that's my butt and extended time. I could use more wind. This little diffuser thing doesn't have any effect with the shield or the screen down. Does help tremendously with the screen up. Really prevents that forward push of air pressure. But I really want more wind. It's supposed to give you a little bit more cooling in the down position, but I don't feel a thing. So there you go. There is my, I'll call it extended review. Overall, my opinion hasn't changed on anything I said, with the exception of the seat, just because I didn't know it would bother me, because I only had the short ride. Definitely check it out if you're looking for a, I'll call it sporty touring bike. It's definitely not a sport touring, and it's definitely not a straight touring bike anymore. I think it's kind of in between, kind of their own thing now. If you want the tremendous storage space, you're still looking at a used 1800 or a BMW K1600 bagger, something along those lines, even an FJR. But I don't even put the FJR or the Concours in the same league as this or the BMW. These are just tremendously bigger bikes. The engine performance is such a different characteristic. I think the BMW 1600s and the Goldwings are in their own touring class for the ultra large bikes. So there you go, guys. Stay tuned. I got more stuff coming up. I'll have a much more fun lightweight bike tomorrow. Haven't decided where I'm going to go. I'm really not thinking I'm going to go back up to where I went, because that was 4 hours of pure traffic hell, 30 miles of lane splitting just to get to you know, an hour worth of really good roads. Wasn't really worth it. So I might check out south, see what's going on down there. That's it. See you next time.